Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we are right back here on the Rutland again. This is, let's look under the old girl's apron, part 6. Alright, I've been tinkering around the last 2 days or so while we were loading up the last video that we just released on the big shafting. And I'm going to bring you in a little closer so we can get to look at it. I've made a couple aluminum bracket and a steel bracket, and I've modified one of the aluminum pieces that came in the kit for the shooting star digital readout attachment that we're putting on here. And I'm trying to get this all done while we have the carriage in the loose mode before we finalize everything, paint it up, get ready to install it. I want to go ahead and drill all the holes that I can possibly drill on it using the machines and other means that I have before it can't be just lifted off here easily. Alright, so let's bring you in and let's take a look at what I've got going on right now in the plan before we take this off, slide it into the bridge board in there and drill a couple holes in there. Alright. Okay, the first thing is we picked a location that we wanted the sensor will be down here, or the pickup will be down here, and this will mount parallel to the cross slide this way here. We're leaving enough stick out here so that the sensor or the pickup will be out in this location here, and we'll still be able to get to our locking screw here. The height will be high enough to where we can still access that oiler and that oiler right there. And we're going to be showing you a one-shot oiler that Dennis Nolan actually sent us for this project here. And we're going to be incorporating in this lathe a one-shot oiler, which will feed the carriage and everything else. It's not all thought out, but it is going to be part of the total package when we get all done here. All right, now first off, we needed to mount a rail on here so that we could support this and hold it steady and get the end of our support out off the end. So we went ahead and take a 1/4 by 3/4 coal roll. This is true bar, and we threaded each end for our blocks on the receiver here, and we put in 2 counter sunk holes that we'll be able to put in a couple 1032 flat heads, and those are going to be the 2 holes that we're going to set up and drill and mount this onto the cross slide. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to do, is take this in and drill and tap those holes. Now this pickup for the readout here is going to mount and attach to the side here. The kit come with a couple angles that pick up those bolt patterns there, and then you can bolt it where you like. I've taken their angle, modified it so I can pick up those 2 bolts, and I created 2 clearance holes for 1032, and I'm actually going to be mounting this in this fashion here. So we're going to be drilling and tapping 2 holes into the side of there, and this will be all set up. But we're going to do the cross slide first, then we'll set this in position here, and we'll know exactly where we're going to want this in and out this way here, up and down this way here. Alright, so that's kind of what's in the plan here. Alright, this angle bracket right here was made out of a piece of regular aluminum channel I had laying around here. I just took a slice right off the width here, and then I set it up in the mill and claimed those 2 holes as far as the hole pattern, turned it over, countersunk those, set it in here after I decided where this was going to set in here, so that I didn't have a whole bunch of material taking up the width here, and I was still going to create clearance to access that lock bolt. And still unknown is exactly where this is going to be and exactly where this is going to be, but the contour or the shape of this will will correspond in where it needs to go. If it has to hang down here a little bit, we'll trim off the bottom. If it comes up a little bit, we don't have to do anything to it. If this is way in, then we can trim off some excess here, and if this is sticking out here, it doesn't matter. All right, and we can round these corners here if we want, just so there's no sharp corners out there. All right, let's slide off our cross slide here, and we make sure we don't drop the gib. All right, and we get to look underneath here for another time at Joe's scraping, and that is looking good. All right, let's go put a couple tapped holes into this. All right, we come into the mill here, and we went ahead and lightly scribed a 3/8 line in here. This is our line that we know we want to put that end of the rail on here, and we kind of picked these two locations here for the span because we didn't want to interfere with any of the thread adjustment for the gib and in that area there, and we wanted to stay away from this thin wall right here where the compound swivels on, so we're going to be over in here with that thread. All right, so basically we're coming in 3/8 of an inch here because that's going to keep that center line and this flush on the top. All right, we're just taking a small center drill. Now we're not going to put a center drill in here. We're going to use the leading edge of that to create, and we're going to call that 0. And all we're doing is we're just going to come down and create a starting hole, just like if it was a starting drill. Oh, I hit the brake a little hard, and the weight of the chuck opened up and let that come right on out. All right, here's our tap size here, and we're going to be installing these screws here, and that's going to give a 1/4 inch. It looks like on the depth there, so you know, 1/2 inch length of hole will be sufficient. And we set our dial up here. There's 400. I'm just gradually it's real soft material. It's cast material, ductile. Okay, grab the vacuum. Okay, we're going to put a little chamfer in here. There we go. Okay, we're going to lower it down so we can fit our tap in here. We're going to get a tap follower. Okay, we're going in dry because it's cast or ductile, and it doesn't need any lubrication. And the chips break fine. This is like a gun tap, so it's pushing the chips ahead. So I don't necessarily need to break it. Break the chip, I meant. Go down a little bit more just to get some pressure off of it. There we go. Okay, we reached down and got our center drill there, and we're gonna move on over. We know when we drilled and countersunk these two holes, we did it exactly 6 inches. So that's what we're going to do. We're already set. We're going to move it 6 inches here. We may actually have to move our trash can here because we're going to hit the handle, I think. Yeah. With 1 inch to go. There you go. We might make it now. Okay, there's 6 inches, and we'll have to come on up. And we're just spotting a little drill. We're not trying to put the countersink in there. We're just using the end of that drill like a good drill starter. Just because we don't have one the size of this drill, we're using the tap, which is a 21, number 21. All right, and we set our dial here again. We'll go a 1/2 inch deep here. There we go. Alright, and another little chamfer. There we go. Tap follower. All right, now we're going to blow those holes out. All right, we should be able to assemble this part here now. That feels pretty good. I may have to countersink that one down a little bit more. This one's just about the right height. This one here is a little bit light. See if that looks any better. Much better. Okay, let's take it back in and fit it up on the lathe. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got to lay the gib back in here. We pulled it out so we wouldn't be dropping it. All right, and we go. Alright, now here's our pickup, and our pickup is going to be fitting right in there, only down at that height. So what we got to do now is we got to go ahead, and we shortened, and we have to shorten our rod here and our tube exactly the same dimension, because they want you to pull this tight, and we decided to shorten this up 1 inch. So we got to cut 1 inch off of here and 1 inch off of our plastic there, and then that'll be able to mount, and we'll be able to draw our pickup for our scale all the way down in this neck of the woods here. Okay, we're going to hold that block there and hold this block here. We're just double checking, and I made that exactly 1 inch less, and 1 inch less takes us right on there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and cut 1 inch off the rod and 1 inch off of that piece of flex material right there, and we'll come back and we'll mount that up. We trimmed 1 inch of the rack off and 1 inch of the flexible material, and we're ready to go ahead and mount this. Now this is zip tied to this end right here. This is the encoder is what they call this, and we'll call this the rack. So make sure the rack is not rotated with respect to the encoder. So after I break this loose, we cannot rotate this thing around. It's got to slide directly over to here on this side here. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and put this flat piece here so I know it won't rotate. I'll be able to snip that. We're going to move this arm slightly, and we'll be able to bolt that with the bolt right on through here. That's kind of the plan. And I don't know how critical or technical that is, or how easy it is, because I haven't had one of these apart before. So what I want to do is go ahead burr in here. Alright, that kind of got rid of the burr there. Alright. I just want to keep that there. I don't know if that... Okay. Now we're gonna keep that encoder straight, but we're gonna pull it towards us. We need it all the way down at this end before we can do anything. Alright, now we want to slide our block on the end here. Here's our block. And all right, we're gonna need, I think we're gonna need to take just a little bit more off of the end, just sand it a little bit. I'm looking at probably about a 32nd. So I'm going to go get my rotary disc so that I can sand off the end in place here. So I'm not going to be moving this thing around. I'm not going to take it back over the sander. I'm not going to take this back down. So right now, I'm just gonna go get the sanding disc right now. Okay, that's going to be good. This is actually pretty cool. I think I can just to keep this thing from rotating right now, I can put this arm up here, rotate that screw around, and that'll keep it from going either way for right now. Okay, now I can go ahead and plan out our lower support for the encoder, which I'll pull those two screws out and I'll bolt this angle on it. This is a look at the original piece, and all I did was shorten down these screws right here and then drill out these screws so that I could put in a couple pan heads. And let me see what I got. The pan heads down here. Alright, the pan heads will be able to go down in here like that, and then the Allens will go into the side. I'll cut these off to length after I know how long they're going to be. Okay, we pulled this back kind of where we wanted it here, and we marked a line on each side of the cord because we want this to slide forward a little bit. So we're going to scallop out a little area just like that. Alright, and we're holding this kind of level right here, and we see our little bit of overhang here, and we marked it on the other side right here. So we're going to trim off of here and scallop that piece right in there. Alright, so let's head on into the mill and we'll take care of those areas, and then we'll be able to clamp this up and grab our two holes for the two tapped holes and the two tapped holes into the carriage itself. The first thing we want to do is we're going to take the top off of that piece right there. So we need to hold this in the vise something like that. Let's take these medium-sized parallels. That holds it level and in line. I can get a good grip on that. Alright, this is just a 3/8 turbo end mill. And that looks pretty good right there. Alright. Lock down, lock down. Alright. We can let that one up a little bit. Back a little bit on my nut here. Just take the play out of there. Alright, that's going pretty good. We'll just go ahead and put that on a slow feed there. Alright, a little bit of juice there, just so it doesn't gall up. That's just a little tap. Alright, we'll just let that feed across. Coming up to the end. There we go. Okay, now we're just going to take that little scallop right there. Let's open up our jaws here. Okay, and we want this top to be clean. Same there. A little bit on that face, a little bit on that face. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna go hit that with some Scotch-Brite on the 2-inch wheel, and that'll take off all the sharp edges right there. And I think we're ready to go hold it in place and transfer punch our 2 tapped holes here and the 2 that need to go into the carriage. Okay, I gotta hold this back. I'm gonna slide this in here. I'm just kind of eyeballing that these hole pattern is in the middle here, and I'm also looking underneath there to see that I'm kind of in line with our electrical coming out of the encoder. All right, and we'll worry about pitch in the next ones here in a second, but I want to get these 2 drilled and tapped so then I can create a solid hole between that and the encoder, set the encoder exactly square level and stress free to the rack, and then we'll transfer punch the other holes there to go into the carriage. And double checking under there again, that looks good. That looks good. All right, taking the scribe, and I'm scribing where those tapped holes are going to be. All right, I'm going to go drill and tap those in the mill. Okay, now we'll just bring this back a little bit, and see if we can get, pretty hard to get my fingers in there next to the other thing. Okay, we're just going to leave these slightly loose to let that thing pivot where it wants to. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this thing leveled off exactly level with the carriage and the lathe. And then we're going to transfer punch those 2 holes that way, and then we'll be able to move this out of the way, pistol drill those 2 holes and tap them. There's no sense in moving this whole thing into a mill there and making creating a big setup when I can get a straight shot right here. There's nothing in my way here. All right, and it looks like we're leaning up a little bit. We want to kind of bring it about like that. I'm gonna go get my level and set it on here. Okay, we got this sitting with the level on here right across the top of the encoder, which is pretty flat, and everything is kind of tightened up to where I can move that bubble. I got a good eyeball on that. I have my transfer punch here that fits real snug into that hole right there. And I have my new hammer. I put in the hardened head here. And I'm just going to give this a little transfer punch here. Alright. And so now I need to go ahead and I'm going to slide this off, set it over on a rag on the ways over here so that I could pistol drill this and then come back and slide it in, put this screw in, mark the other hole. I'm going to slide this off. And this stays pretty well without spinning because it touches this bar over here. We don't have to worry about it. We do have to worry about the give is not super tight underneath there, so we do have to hang on to that when we slide this in and out. Make sure we clean that. We're going to be drilling here, so we'll make sure we don't get any chips in there as well. All right, I need my tap size drill. All right, I got my tap and my tap size drill. I'm using my DeWalt. I like the bubble here, so that's going to give me this. I can eyeball this here straight, but I want this bubble so I get the right elevation so that I'm going in straight there. Otherwise, I'd use one of my other battery pack units. And I need to get a clamp-on light so I got a better view at this hole. Move a few things out of the way here. I'm going to lay down some newspaper here just to catch the chips. Okay, that's it's almost a half an inch in. Half an inch in, and I think that's a half an inch on those. Let's check out these short ones here. It's going to be a little bit too short, but we can trim these if we need to. I don't. Let's see how much we need. We'll give it another 1/8 of an inch. Okay. All right. I'm going to tap it now. There's no bubble on this, but I think we can follow the hole. A lot of people asking me lately, how come I don't break the chip? Ductile breaks pretty much by itself, but I'm using a gun drill or a tap that actually has a leading edge leaning forward, and it pushes the chip forward. And it's only a 2 fluter, and they're pretty stout. Okay, that's almost 3/4 of the length of that thread in there. That's going to be pretty good. I think that's okay. I want to chamfer that a little bit. I found this to be a handy tool. One of the boxes that I've inherited. Okay, while we were waiting for our video to be copied onto a disc so we can keep going, we went ahead and attached, pulled this rubber or the sheath or the cover on the rack, pulled it up here, put the zip tie on here, and we're pretty happy with it, except for when it gets right into here. All right, ready. We're gonna transfer punch this one now. I'm liking this hammer, guys. Putting all kinds of dings on it. Actually, you said that was hardened. It's not putting any marks on it yet. Of course, I haven't wailed on it. Oh, we got a mark there now. Okay. Okay, that's about the same distance in the other one was. Okay, put our first screw in. All right, and as soon as we get the screw in, we're going to pick up that mess down there. Pretty gritty. I don't like the way it feels on my tools either. Okay. All right, I like that. We got room for adjustment. Oh, I love it. I love it. I took a couple washers. I tried putting them in here, and I wasn't making no difference on how this was bunching up at the end here. And like I said, it was flowing freely and everything else. Well, now it's not bunching up. Okay, when I tightened down this zip tie over here, the split line kind of rolled underneath like that, so it was putting side to side pressure on the split line of the sheath itself and bunching it up. I put it straight so it's straight in line, and there's no problem with it at all. Everything is exactly like it should be, and nice, stress-free, and I'm real happy. I have a readout connected to the crossways. Now the tailstock's got to come up in here, okay, and you got to get rid of that problem of hitting there. I'm going to drill and tap in the center on the lower portion, and I'm going to put a stud sticking out so that the tailstock will come up and hit that before it impacts this area right here. Also, it advises you to go ahead and put a cover on here, and I'm going to go ahead and drill and tap, probably with some 832s or something, a flat bar that goes across here, and that will keep anything from coming and hitting. It is pretty well protected right here. It's below the swing of the lathe, so it is in the most optimum position, I think. I can still get to these oilers down in here, and right now I'm going to pop those out, and I'll put a flip cap in there because we have to do some lines and all kinds of different things to get that one pump shot going that Dennis has given us, and we'll be opening up that and showing that here in the next episode. All right, let me give you some detailed photos of what we got right here, and call it the end of part 6.